Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review of this week's new One Piece anime episode, and that would be One Piece episode 767. And before I even get into breaking this one down part by part, I want to say that I really genuinely thought that this was the best episode since the time skip. So my thoughts on it, I'm just going to make clear from the beginning. I thought this was the best episode since the time skip. I tried to think of other episodes I thought were better, and the closest I could maybe come up with was I did like the Law versus Virgo fight back in Punk Hazard, but I think this was better than that. I liked this better than anything in Fishman. The only thing in Dressrosa I could think of that maybe comes close is maybe the Rebecca flashbacks back when we thought Rebecca may have been a useful character in the series. But yeah, other than that, I think that this could have possibly been the best episode. This animation was beautiful this week. And with the beautiful animation came a beautiful soundtrack and use of the soundtrack and the plot point that I've been waiting for a long time. Because when you look at the plot of Zou so far, which has been episodes and episodes long, it was all going in one way. And the revelation at the end of this episode changes everything that we've seen in the plot so far. It takes a whole line of story and makes the same line of story mean something totally different, which I just think genius writing wise. So at the very beginning, breaking it down part by part, Frankie wakes up Robin and Brooke, and of course it was funny seeing Ryunosuke tattooed on Zou's butt. And then we have the panning shot of Kudao City, and we see the tree in the background, and just Zou, the country as a whole, and it looks beautiful. I really like that panning shot. So Bariete rings the bell to announce that the samurai are here, and we see Inuadashi and Shishilian mobilizing the musketeers. And even the kids are going with them, and what seems to be citizens as well, and we see like the kid that we saw way back in the Jack flashback is there as well. So they even have kids with them, and then we see Nekomamushi rushing in with Pedro and the Guardians as well. Then we have Kinemon and Kanjuro walking through the forest. Momonosuke finds them. I've never personally been a fan of Momonosuke. I like when he was in dragon form on Punk Hazard with Luffy, but other than that, I have not liked the character, and it's a very hit and miss character with fans. A lot of fans are neutral to him, or just like, he's a side character, who cares? I haven't seen any that really particularly like him, but I've seen a lot of fans that can't stand him, and I won't say that I can't stand him, but I really am not a fan of Momonosuke. But I did also love the shots that we had, going from them and the Straw Hats to where we had shots of all the main characters, and we had that nice soundtrack playing as they run through the forest, and we start off with it built up, and like the music built up, and we had Inuadashi, and then to Shishilian, and then like Wanda and Kared and the different musketeers, and then to the citizens and stuff, and all the main characters that we had seen before that had said or done anything really. And then the music built back up as we went, and we saw like Rhodey and BB, we saw Pedro, and then built back up as we saw Nekomamushi. I loved the way they did that with the music and the different characters. It looked really nice. Then when they get into the city, we have the scene of Pedro on the tower that I really liked that scene from the manga, and I'm so glad they did it so well in the anime, where Pedro's up there and he tells Nekomamushi to retreat in order to try to make it so that he won't see Inuadashi. And then the hilarious scene, Shishilian sees Nekomamushi and freaks out, and they see each other. That was such a good scene. I was dying at Shishilian's reaction to seeing Nekomamushi. It was really it was a great scene. I wish I had time to rewatch this episode right after I watched it, but I haven't had time to rewatch it yet. But it was so good. So Pedro and Shishilian, as their right-hand men respectively, the captains of the Musketeers and of the Guardians, try to keep Nekomamushi and Inuadashi separated, but that stuff ain't gonna happen. Then we see the samurai see them, and the Straw Hats tackle the samurai behind some rubble, and we have a flashback to the arm and leg loss of Nekomamushi and Inuadashi, and it was great. I love how we actually got to see full on the crucifixion and torture of Inuadashi, where he's like, well, I guess I'm losing this leg, and where they're about to kill Nekomamushi's men, and Nekomamushi's like, no, if you're going to point the spears at somebody, point them at me instead. So good. That flashback was done just incredibly well. So then we have a quick clash of dog versus cat, and Kinemon stops them, and that scene, I love how they took that one panel with Kinemon calling out to them and Usopp hanging off his back. They like took that straight from the manga and just animated it and added this depth to it. It looked so good. This was just really a very good looking episode as well. I just thought the art looked really nice. So then Kinemon says, I'm the retainer of the Kozuki clan, and of course this is the first time for you anime only watchers that you've heard of the Kozuki clan and the clan that Kinemon is from. So that, again, really building up more for the story. I loved as well something for the anime where Luffy's walking up, and just this badass walk like we've seen before with Luffy and then Frankie, Brook, and Zoro with him, and the music playing and everything. It looked so good. So then we had that, and we had this nice silent suspense. We looked at all these different characters' faces, had these great shots of the group, and just the silence was so good. Then, of course, the Raizo is safe scene. Just that confirmation, that twist really changes the entire story of Zou, and by that changes a large chunk of the story of One Piece itself. So I completely loved that scene. They did it entirely well, really. The OST for it was amazing. And it's probably, that's when I said, that scene, I was like, okay, this is the best episode since the time skip that I can name. So then we have the revelation that the Minks are like family to the Kozuki, and they would never sell out a friend. And of course, everybody's emotion, including Usopp's and Luffy's, were both really good for the scene. Loved it. It's done so well. So it was a very, very emotional episode. The music was amazing. I loved the music for it. The animation as well was some of the best we've had. Zou's animation as a whole, almost every episode has looked very nice, with the exception of a few. And like I said, it does change the entire story quite a bit as well. And that is why, in my opinion, since it is so huge and since it is so well made, it is probably the best episode since the time skip to me. And because of that, I will give it, of course I'll give it 10 Samurai Clans out of 10. Had to be a perfect score just because I think it's the best episode. I can't think of any that I've liked more than this. There were a couple episodes in Dressrosa I liked, a couple episodes in Punk Hazard I liked, but neither of them really felt like they had the quality or attention to detail put into them that this did. So that would be my reason that I think that this is the best one so far. So like if you did like this video, and comment down there so that you can tell me what you thought of this episode, because I'm very curious to know, and what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe for more One Piece, both anime and manga as well if you want to. And a ton of other things on the channel too, so check that out if you want. And follow on Twitter too if you want to, and I will try to keep you updated there on stuff for the channel. That's it, so thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.